Mr. Chair, thank you so much. Your Excellency, Mr. Ambassador, Madam Consul General, members of the committee. I'm Eleni Kounalakis, Lieutenant Governor of California, and I'm honored, Mr. Chair, to be asked to present here and appear before you today to discuss California's relationship with our close and good friend, the Republic of Armenia. As Governor Newsom's representative for international affairs and trade development, I'm delighted to be able to provide you with an overview of California's relations with Armenia since Governor Newsom took office in 2019. The relationship between Armenia and our state is one that is underpinned by our people. According to the Armenian National Committee of America, it is estimated that more than 1 million people of Armenian descent live in our state. That makes us home to the largest diaspora community anywhere, with the exception of Russia. I'm sure that members of the committee, particularly Ms. Colosa, are aware that the largest concentration of this diaspora is in Southern California, and it has been said that Glendale is the largest so-called Armenian city outside of Armenia. So as you noted, research indicates that Armenians who immigrated to California came in 3 distinct waves. The first, in the early 20th century, were survivors fleeing the horrors of the Armenian genocide inflicted upon them by the Ottoman Empire beginning in 1915. They settled in Southern California and in the Central Valley near Fresno, seeking to build new lives for themselves and their families. The second wave came in the mid-20th century when ethnic Armenians who lived in the Middle East immigrated from places like Lebanon, Syria, and Iran, again fleeing instability and persecution. And finally, with the fall of the Soviet Union in the 1990s and the independence of Armenia, a third wave came to our Golden State with hopes of realizing their California dreams. Today, this large and vibrant community contributes indelibly and in an outsized way to every aspect of our state's rich cultural, economic, and political tapestry. Among the great examples of this, of course, Mr. Chair, your own presence in the Assembly, but of course, Governor George Deukmejian, who led our state from 1983 to 1991, capping a long and distinguished career in public service to our state and our nation. To my knowledge, he is the only governor of Armenian descent to serve as governor of any U.S. state, and it happened here in America's most populous and economically prosperous state. Since Governor Newsom took office in 2019, his administration has worked hard to build upon and strengthen the ties that bind California and Armenia together. In September 2019, we were honored to be visited in Los Angeles by Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan. Several days later, on the margins of the United Nations General Assembly meeting in New York, Governor Newsom and Foreign Minister Netsakian signed a framework agreement between the government of the state of California and the government of the Republic of Armenia. The purpose of this agreement was to recognize the deep connection between Armenia and California and to foster expanded ties in the areas of trade and commerce, investment promotion, information technology and innovation, alternative energy and environmental technology, agriculture and food systems, healthcare, tourism, higher education, and scientific research, as well as business development and entrepreneurship. Much has been accomplished since this agreement was signed. One tangible result was the opening of a California Trade and Services Desk in Yerevan. This trade desk is one of only 3 our state has established, the other 2 being in 2 of our largest and most important trading partners, Mexico and Japan. It is designed to serve as a portal for Armenian companies wishing to learn more about doing business with California and in California. And you will hear much more about this in a few moments from our GoBiz trade representative for Europe, Ms. Uterbach, in just a few moments. A second area of cooperation we're extremely proud of is in the field of academia. Way back in 1991, the American University of Armenia was founded with the direct assistance and support of the University of California. As a direct result of this cooperation, there are now Armenian studies programs at UC Berkeley, UC Irvine, UCLA, and State Fresno. And the University of Southern California is home to the Dornsife Institute of Armenian Studies. Another notable development in the field of academic exchanges is the establishment in 2021 of the Armenian Society of Fellows, which fosters high-level academic exchanges among leading Armenian and diaspora scholars from around the world. These are just a few examples of the deep and strong connections and areas of cooperation that are happening both at the state and government level, but also among private individuals and organizations. So as I get to the end of my remarks, I'd like to highlight California's unwavering support for Armenia's sovereignty and territorial integrity. The years since our MOU was signed have been marked by extraordinary challenges. The conflict in and around Artsakh brought profound human suffering and uncertainty to the region, and its impact was felt thousands of miles away here in California as well, where members of our Armenian American community experienced harassment, intimidation, and acts of hate that have no place in our state. California leadership has spoken out clearly against those acts, has stood with our Armenian community, and will continue to defend the safety, dignity, and rights of all our residents. We hope that efforts to achieve a durable peace and greater regional stability in Artsakh offer the possibility of a more secure and prosperous future for Armenia and the South Caucasus. And we hope that relations between the United States and Armenia continue to deepen, creating new opportunities for cooperation. My second overseas trip as Lieutenant Governor was to Armenia. I will never forget my visit to the American University, to the historic monasteries and thriving wineries. And my visit was during Vardavar, so I'll also never forget being drenched with water in the streets of Yerevan. But above all, I will never forget my visit to the Armenian Genocide Monument and Museum. It was my great honor to plant a tree there in memory of those who perished in the genocide. We in California will never forget them. And as a Greek American and someone who was raised with an understanding of this terrible chapter in history, which many sought to deny, which finally has been recognized for what it was, it is also my hope that as the tree grows, so true will the relationship between Armenia and California. So thank you again to the members of this select committee for convening this hearing, and thank you for your commitment to forwarding the deep and enduring friendship between California and Armenia.